What was again the word then for it, or for him, or for you formal?
Lo.
Lo. If we make this feminine, so we change the o to an a, and we're going to see other examples of this way of making something feminine in Spanish, we get la, and this means her, it, a feminine thing. So objects as well. Well, not objects. Objects don't have gender. When people speak about languages that have gender, they tend to think that the object has the gender, but it's not the object, it's the word. You might have two words for the same object, and one might be masculine and one might be feminine. So it's the word. A feminine word, for example, usually are ones that end in a. So like casa, house. If you want to say, I want to see it, and with this it, you mean the house. What do you think you will say? I want to see it.
Quiero verla.
Good. Quiero verla. Now, what else could that sentence mean? Other than I want to see it, the feminine thing, what else could it mean?
Oh, it could also mean I want to see her.
Yes, exactly. So we get quite a few meanings just with this little lo and adding an S to it or changing the O to an A. We actually get a lot of options. La could mean her, and it also could mean you formal talking to a female. So you could be saying, I want to see you formally. Now, where you use the formal language and the informal language really depends on the dialect. So the safe way is to go in with the formal and to see what happens and to see how people address you and see how people address each other in this context, and you can adjust accordingly. For example, in Spain, when you meet somebody, when you go into a shop, when you meet somebody for the first time, with the exception of kind of young peers, the common thing is to begin speaking formally. If I compare this to Buenos Aires, for example, in Argentina, it's almost never used, this formal way of addressing people. In fact, it's used more often to insult somebody with an extra layer of sarcasm or irony, let's say, than it's actually used sincerely to be formal. So it really depends on the place you want to go and see. But to play safe, you can use the formal, which would be lo or la, speaking to a male or to a female, lo and la instead of te. Quiere means he wants, she wants, it wants, or you formal want. We can see that these four, they band together, not just in words like lo and la, but in the verbs as well. We saw it with s, that s means it is, she is, he is, you formal are. So they will band together. Quiere means he wants, she wants, it wants, you formal want. So, how would you say you want to visit me?
Quiere visitarme.
Good. Quiere visitarme. You want to visit me. Now, if you want to make that a question, in English, we put do you want? But in Spanish, you won't do anything like that. In Spanish, you will just make it sound like a question with your voice. So, how would you say, do you want to visit me?
Quiere visitarme.
Good. Quiere visitarme. How would you say you don't want to visit me?
No quiere visitarme.
Oh, you sounded very sad when you said that. No quiere visitarme. Now, if you want to say, don't you want to visit me? Again, English gets really complicated there, but not Spanish. So, don't you want to visit me?
No quiere visitarme.
Good. No quiere visitarme. You could add the word for why. The word for why is por qué. ¿Por qué?
¿Por qué?
It's actually the word for because as well. So, why don't you want to visit me?
¿Por qué no quiere visitarme?
Good. ¿Por qué no quiere visitarme? The verb for to come is venir.
Venir.
So, of course, you could hear the, like I just pronounced for you, so you would get the spelling venir, but more commonly you would hear venir, like a soft B. Firstly, let's say, do you want to come?
Quiere venir.
Good. Quiere venir. A nice way to remember venir, actually, is conveniente, convenient, with coming, when things come together. Or if you ever heard welcome in Spanish, you might have heard bienvenido, or bienvenida, bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Literally the same as welcome. Well is bien, and come, there we have a venido, it's a different version of venir. So, venir, to come. If you want to say the house, it's la casa.
La casa.
What was to? What is to the house?
A la casa.
Good. Do you want to come to the house?
quiere venir a la casa?
Good. How would you say, do you want to come to visit me? Do you want to come to visit me?
¿Quiere venir a visitarme?
Good. Don't you want to come to visit me?
¿No quiere venir a visitarme?
Good. No quiere venir a visitarme. What was the word for why?
¿Por qué?
Good. Why don't you want to come to visit me?
¿Por qué no quiere venir a visitarme?
Very good. ¿Por qué no quiere venir a visitarme? Good. And of course here we're using a because we have venir, a verb of coming and going, like boy, boy a, venir a, when we're connecting to a to form. The word for I-O in Spanish is debo, debo,
Debo.
debo. The English word debt, which is spelled D-E-B-T, has this B from debo. It comes from there. We don't pronounce it in English, of course, but this word is from Latin. And debo is I-O. The useful thing about I-O is that you can use it like I must. So if you want to say, I must continue, you say I owe to continue. I owe to continue. And that's the meaning of I must continue. So how would you say that? I must continue.
Debo continuar.
Good. How would you say I must identify it?
Debo identify.
Mm.
Identification.
Good.
Identificación.
Very good.
Identificar.
Very good.
So it's debo identificarlo.
Good. Debo identificarlo. I must or I owe to identify them. I must identify them.
Debo identificarlos.
Good. Debo identificarlos. What if they were feminine things? What change do you think you would see?
Las.
Good.
Debo identificarlas.
Good.